the title match at the Royal Rumble a fatal four-way.
It was a night that no one in the WWE Universe could have ever predicted. A night of unrelenting chaos, where rivalries ignited and allegiances were tested. The ring, once a symbol of honor and competition, became the battleground for brutality, as Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker unleashed utter destruction on Justo and CM Punk. The WWE landscape was shaken to its core as a brutal beatdown ensued, leaving the crowd in stunned silence and the locker room in turmoil. What started as a tense confrontation quickly spiraled into a savage assault, an unprovoked attack that changed the course of the evening and possibly the future of WWE. But just when all hope seemed lost for Justo and Punk, a familiar theme echoed through the arena. The cavalry had arrived. The lights flickered, and the crowd erupted into a frenzy as OTC made his triumphant return, charging into the ring like a man possessed. The build-up. Tension in the air. For weeks, the tension had been building. CM Punk, fresh off his controversial return, had been stirring the pot, poking at the foundation of WWE and its leadership. Known for his outspoken nature and defiance against authority, Punk had quickly made enemies, none more dangerous than the architect Seth Rollins and the powerhouse Bron Breakker. Together, they formed a brutal, calculated, and merciless alliance, one that was built to dominate. Rollins, with his unmistakable swagger and mind games, had crafted a strategy that only a master manipulator could conceive. Breakker, on the other hand, was a juggernaut, unstoppable, relentless, and fueled by raw power. The two were a perfect storm, an alliance designed not just to win, but to destroy anyone who stood in their way. And in their crosshairs, Punk was a prime target. A match begins, and the chaos unfolds. The match started with the usual fanfare, but the air was thick with anticipation. Seth Rollins strutted down the ramp, his eyes gleaming with self-assured confidence. He smirked, as if knowing something the rest of us didn't. Behind him, Bron Breakker followed, his demeanor stoic but seething with fury. The crowd was on edge, aware that this wasn't just another match. It was the start of something big, something dangerous. Across the ring stood CM Punk and Justo, both men battle-tested and brimming with confidence. Punk, ever the technician, seemed ready to dismantle his opponents piece by piece. Justo, the stalwart hero who had fought in the infamous Bloodline saga, stood firm alongside him. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. Or so it seemed. The bell rang, and immediately, the tide shifted. Rollins, ever the opportunist, distracted the referee, allowing Breakker to launch an unprovoked assault. The powerhouse surged forward, grabbing Punk like a rag doll and tossing him across the ring with ease. Punk, never one to back down, tried to fight back with his trademark technical ability, but Breakker's strength was overwhelming. Each slam reverberated through the ring, leaving Punk struggling to stay in the fight. Rollins and Breakker. A relentless destruction. Justo tried to intervene, but that only fueled the anger of Rollins. The visionary was ruthless, his movements calculated as he launched himself into the fray. With one brutal stomp, he planted Jey into the mat, sending shockwaves through the arena. It was no longer a match, it was an assault. A 2-on-1 massacre that had the crowd in stunned silence. The brutality that unfolded in front of them was too much to process. The energy in the arena shifted from excitement to shock, and the once vocal fans were left speechless. Justo, the man who had fought for honor and justice, was now being dismantled by two of the most ruthless men in the company. CM Punk, the voice of change, the one who had promised to challenge the system, now found himself broken and defeated in the middle of the ring. Rollins' taunts and Breakker's carnage. With a smug grin, Seth Rollins leaned over Punk, taunting him mercilessly. "You love to play the victim, don't you?" Rollins sneered. "Always crying, always pointing fingers. Well, how about this time we give you a real reason to cry?" The crowd held their breath as Breakker hoisted Punk high into the air. The powerbomb that followed was nothing short of terrifying, the impact echoing throughout the arena. Punk's body crashed into the mat, the sound of his spine rattling through the ring. Officials rushed to the ring, trying to stop the chaos, but it was futile. Rollins and Breakker were on a mission, and no one was going to stand in their way. They shoved security aside like ragdolls, continuing their relentless assault. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about titles. It was about making a statement. And they made it loud and clear. They were the future of WWE, and they would destroy anyone who dared challenge them. OTC's arrival. The tide turns. Just as all hope seemed lost, the arena lights flickered. The crowd's murmurs turned into a deafening roar. The unmistakable sound of OTC's theme blasted through the speakers, and the entire arena erupted in a wave of energy. OTC, the man who had fought through his own battles, charged to the ring like a man possessed. The powerhouse Breakker had no time to react as OTC launched himself at him with a spear that shook the entire ring. Breakker stumbled back, clearly rattled by the intensity of OTC's attack. Rollins, however, wasn't so lucky. As he tried to escape the ring, he was met with a devastating clothesline that sent him crashing to the mat. The tide had turned. The aftermath. A new war has begun. Standing tall, OTC glared at the wreckage in front of him. Justo, battered but still alive, was struggling to his feet. Punk, still being checked by medics, looked disoriented but determined. And though the damage had been done, OTC had sent a message that he would not stand by and watch WWE descend into chaos. With Rollins and Breakker retreating up the ramp, nursing their wounds, the crowd knew something had changed. A new war had begun. This wasn't just about titles anymore. It was about survival, about standing against the darkness that had descended on WWE. The legacy of WWE title reigns, a walk through history. As the dust settled, fans couldn't help but reflect on the incredible history of WWE title reigns. Roman Reigns' dominance was only the latest chapter in an era filled with unforgettable title runs. The title reigns that defined WWE were not simply measured by days, but by the impact they left on the company. From Kurt Angle's 105-day reign to Brock Lesnar's legendary reign of terror, every champion had a story to tell. John Cena's reign during the PG era shaped the next generation of fans, while Bret Hart's technical mastery defined a generation of wrestling. Others, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, created moments that transcended the business itself. His 175-day reign marked a turning point in WWE history, just as Kofi Kingston's inspiring 180-day run did. Legends like Triple H, The Rock, and Brock Lesnar cemented their legacies with long, hard-fought title reigns that elevated the championship to heights it had never seen before. And now, with Rollins and Breakker starting a path of destruction, the WWE Universe wonders, are we witnessing the rise of another legendary reign? Or will heroes like OTC, Justo, and CM Punk step up to stop this wave of chaos before it becomes unstoppable? The road ahead. Uncertainty looms. As Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker unleash chaos across WWE, the road ahead is filled with uncertainty. Their merciless campaign has shaken the very foundation of the company, leaving fans and wrestlers alike questioning what comes next. The destructive duo, with Rollins' cunning mind and Breakker's sheer power, have already proven they're not just looking for dominance, they're seeking to rewrite the rulebook. Yet, amidst the havoc, a glimmer of hope emerges. OTC, the hero of the WWE Universe, has stepped forward, unwilling to let these two force their will on the locker room. The stage is set for a colossal clash, and with legendary title reigns echoing in the background, the stakes have never been higher. Will OTC and the valiant few, like Justo and CM Punk, rise to the challenge? Or will Rollins and Breakker continue their reign of terror? The future of WWE hangs in the balance, and with each passing week, the story grows more intense. The locker room is on edge, and the fans are electrified, knowing they're witnessing the beginning of a new era. One thing is for sure, The ride ahead is bound to be wild, unpredictable, and full of surprises. Stay tuned. This is only the beginning.